Released in late 2016, the iPhone 7 was simply an improvement on the iPhone lineup and didn't really bring anything too major or new to the table. Hey, how's it going? I'm Josh from 91 Tech, and today we're going to be taking a look at the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus. Are they still worth buying in 2018? Although this iPhone is only a bit over a year old, it's massively different from the newest iPhone, being of course the 10, but the iPhone 7 is still really solid and honestly a great phone. So quickly before we really discuss whether or not it's worth it, let's review the phone and its specs so we know what we're dealing with here. The design of the 7 and 7 Plus is one we've all grown quite familiar with over the past few years, with the 7 essentially being a better looking 6. Despite this, it's important to note that it looks really good still, and there's a reason Apple is still using this kind of design with the iPhone 8. It works, and it works really well. The iPhone 7 has an all-aluminum build and removes the physical home button on the front, which some will like and some will hate, but I personally like it. It still works the same, but it vibrates when you try to click it. It of course uses Touch ID, which is solid as ever and is still very fast, and honestly, in a lot of ways, a lot better than a Face ID. The phone feels quite good in the hands, and I really enjoy using it. Definitely not as chunky feeling as my iPhone 10. You're getting IP67 water resistance with the iPhone 7, something that is definitely much appreciated. For color options, we have a good variety with silver, gold, rose gold, matte black, and jet black. Jet black is really cool and my personal favorite, as it's a very dark and kind of glossy finish that looks amazing but is very prone to scratching and fingerprints, so keep that in mind if you do get it. Now, probably the worst thing for a lot of people when it comes to the iPhone 7's design is the lack of headphone jack. This was the phone to kill it, and this very well could turn off a lot of people, so if you're someone who loves their headphones, you might want to take a pass and maybe consider the 6S or an Android option. But if you don't really care or are fine with using a dongle, then you'll be absolutely fine. Camera-wise, the iPhone 7 is a beast, especially the Plus model. It features a single 12 megapixel sensor on the regular size 7 with the ability to shoot up to 4K at 30 frames per second, and a dual lens setup on the 7 Plus, both being 12 megapixels. The camera on the smaller one is good, but having the extra telephoto lens on the Plus really brings the phone to the next level, as it allows for some really awesome looking portrait shots and 2x zoom with little to no loss in quality. The cameras are optically stabilized, which is great, although it isn't on the telephoto lens on the Plus model. The phones also both have a 7 megapixel selfie camera that looks absolutely fine, and actually pretty decent for a selfie camera, although you're not getting the portrait mode like on the 10, which really isn't a huge deal. Overall, when it comes to the cameras, you're actually getting some really great performance here. I'll have a thorough test linked below if you're interested, as I didn't really get a chance to play with the camera much, but I can tell you it looks really good. Storage-wise, the base model has 32 gigs, which isn't really that much, so I'd recommend upping it to the 128 or 256 gigabyte model if you can. 32 gigabytes will fill up surprisingly fast, especially if you're taking a lot of photos or downloading a lot of apps. You're getting a really decent display on the iPhone 7, nothing mind-blowing, but more than good enough for the average consumer. The regular size 7 comes in at 4.7 inches with a resolution of 750 by 1334, as well as a pixel density of 326 pixels per inch. It's not bad. The Plus will look a little bit better with a size of 5.5 inches and a resolution of 1080 by 1920 and pixel density of 401 pixels per inch. Again, while these screens aren't really near anything Samsung's doing right now, or even the iPhone 10, they look really good and I don't really have any complaints. Battery-wise, you can expect decent performance with the 7 with 1960 milliamp hours, and really great performance with the 7 Plus with 2900 milliamp hours. You'll get through the day with both of these phones, I would say, but the 7 Plus, you could even get more. It's a clear winner. It's really good for battery life, one of the best. If you need a phone with a good battery, 7 Plus, definitely a good option. When it comes to speed and basic performance, the iPhone 7 is a beast with Apple's A10 Fusion chip and 2 gigabytes of RAM in the smaller model, and then 3 gigabytes in the Plus model. So when it comes to speeds, both are really solid, but the Plus definitely pulls ahead here, and if you're a power user, then you're going to want to use the Plus. The phones both run iOS 11 very well and feel quick and smooth, something you're going to want from a phone like this. From games to social media to more business-oriented apps, the iPhone 7 has you covered. In 2018, these phones aren't going to slow down a whole lot. You might start experiencing some slowdown in about a year or two, but for now, they're absolutely great, and they're probably going to stay like that for a while. So those are some of the basics of the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus. Again, really good phones in 2018. That doesn't mean they're necessarily worth buying, so let's take a look at the price. If you're buying new from Apple.com, eBay.com, it starts at $550 for the unlocked 32GB model, which is not the best deal in the world, but we'll get back to that. If you're buying used, however, we have a much better price point of around $400 on eBay.com, although I've been seeing a lot of deals for even lower than that, which is kind of crazy. So what does this tell us? Essentially, if you're considering the iPhone 7 new, I really wouldn't get it unless you're gonna get a really good deal on a contract. The iPhone 8 is only $150 more for the base model, being $700, and with it you're getting double the storage at 64 gigs, which is a lot better. So if you want to buy new, I would personally recommend avoiding the 7 and going straight for the 8, unless you can, again, get one on a contract, because I understand that on contracts they're often a lot cheaper. On the other hand, if you're okay with used or refurbished, then that's absolutely the way to go, as $400 is a really good price point, and I honestly can't not recommend this phone for that. Just keep in mind that buying used always has its risks, as you never really know what you're getting. So at the end of the day, should you buy the iPhone 7 in 2018? It has great performance, a decent screen, a good camera, and just overall is a really nice phone. It'll get you through daily life without issue and should last quite a few more years. Therefore, my conclusion is absolutely this phone is worth buying, although again, I'd say buying used is the better option, or on a contract. Again, it might not be on the same level as the 10, but considering the iPhone 7 is half the price, I'm not complaining about that. For 2018, this is one of the best phones you can use, even though it's over a year old now. So yeah, if you're gonna get it, you're not gonna regret it. Well, I think that's it for this video. If you found it helpful or interesting at all, make sure you hit that like button, and if tech is your thing, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Let me know what you think of the iPhone 7 in the comments down below. Is it worth it in 2018? Thanks for watching, I really do appreciate it. Social media will be down in the description below, and without further ado, I am Josh from 91 Tech, and I will see you all next time.